For my garbage person of the week, I actually have garbage people of the week. And look, admittedly, this is a thing that has probably put more people in trashy throughout this year than anything else. But I think this is a little bit different. So for me, I've got the cast of the 5 who we've actually been talking about. All of them belong in here, theoretically for multiple reasons, but really for one in particular. So I wanna play a video for you. And I want you to understand or remember as you're watching this, all that these individuals have done and said about coronavirus since March, what effect they've had individually and as a group on the national conversation and preparedness and all of that. And as you bear that in mind, watch this video.
That this might have come from a Wuhan lab, and we're not even sure about that anymore. That science keeps changing, and so we have to. At a certain point, we have to start living our lives, or we're going to lose our livelihoods.
Yeah, Jesse, it's a great point. It feels like the more we have worn masks and the more we have locked things down across the country, it continues to rage. We're at the highest hospitalization rate we've seen right now. So it does raise this very basic question about how much we know about this virus and whether or not all these measures actually work.
Yeah, I mean, right now we've gone from about 750 average daily deaths a day in October to now about 1,700. So we've doubled the daily death count in about a month and a half, which is not good. So thank God warp speed's just around the corner. It can't come soon enough.
Okay, so if I ever am in a position where I have to banish the mind flare back to the upside down, this is the thing I'm gonna remember to enrage myself to increase my psionic potential. I'm gonna make my case, but Brett, you go first. What did you think about that?
It's similar. It's like there's answers to your rhetorical questions. They're out there. Like let's look at the infection rate in like South Dakota. There wasn't a mask mandate. There was a giant outdoor maskless in the Dakotas. There was a maskless rally, and that we trace all of the infections there, which has like a 40+% infection positivity rate to those events. There are things you can do that are common sense. There were lockdowns in New York and California that after that they did affect the infection rating. You're conveniently cherry picking statistics. Now, like people haven't been locked down in California since March. And another thing is like everybody has told you all the answers to this. When it comes to the reason we have a flu season, the reason Trump said it'll go away when it gets warm is because people aren't cooped up in buildings as much with each other in the warm months. You don't get it because it's better with the cold. The influenza lives longer during the cold. It's because you're all around each other, huddled together in buildings because you want to get out of the winter weather. Like that is why this happens. And as these things follow the paths we absolutely said they would follow, it is true that you cut down the infection rates when you do wear masks and you follow these guidelines. And that's all we want to do. And then he gives us the false option of whether we are going to cut it, whether we get to live our lives or we die financially. We have proposals that will bridge that gap where we will give people some kind of financial support to get them through these things because our argument makes sense. You just know what your conclusion is that you want, and you're fudging everything and willfully staying ignorant of facts along the way to get you there.
Yeah, look, everything that you just said is right, and you're 100% right that they're cherry picking. I mean, or to come to the conclusions they've come to, you would have to believe that they're cherry picking. But that's not fundamentally my issue with it. My issue with it is a fundamental rewriting of what has happened this year, and it much more in particular, because after all, it's not the country that's in the can, it's them, their influence on all of it. They're saying, okay, cases are going up, so obviously all of the protective measures didn't matter, and they would have you believe that means because we had national lockdowns for a year and everybody did social distancing and everybody was wearing masks and it didn't work, so we don't need those things. But that's not what we had. And much more particularly, that's not what you asked for, literally at all. You have spent the entire year undermining every one of those things that you in this segment are still undermining. You've been telling people that masks aren't necessary, that they don't need to socially distance, that they should go to Thanksgiving, that in the future they should go to Christmas, that lockdowns are tyrannical, that none of it is necessary. Okay, have we had some of those things? Sure. Some people still, despite your efforts, wear masks. Some people still don't gather, despite what you would have them do. Lots of politicians didn't do rallies, even though you love Trump's maskless rallies. Lots of people aren't doing big parties, even though you were totally a fan of the big parties of the White House. Some of that did exist, but everywhere that you could get your grubby little claws on it, and that all the politicians you worship could get their grubby little claws on it, they have worked to undermine, destroy, or eliminate all of those protections. And so things are going up, but they're not going up because some people wore masks. They're going up because not nearly enough people did. And that is something that you work to make happen literally every day. And we've got the receipts. We've been covering it every goddamn week on this show. The Five and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and Tucker Carlson, who he wasn't in that video clip, but last night had this chyron: if lockdowns work, why haven't they so far? And Parker Malloy, friend of the show, says if seatbelts work, why do people still die in car accidents? Which is a good point, but I would go further. That quote only really works if you bear in mind that the person saying that stupid thing has been advocating for people to not wear seatbelts every single day. And that is what they're doing. Media Matters has done some numbers. Public health measures have been undermined in over 1,000 Fox segments since just September 1st, not even the whole year. And they've been doing more and more of it as the numbers have been going up, as you're seeing in that chart. But it's the protective measures that are leading to people getting sick, by the way. Notably, last night, supposedly, Juan Williams tested positive for coronavirus, and the Five is gonna now tape remotely. But why? Remote, like social distancing, that clearly doesn't protect people. So why don't you keep doing the show with Juan Williams all crammed in there in one room? Like from the very beginning, they've been showing that they don't believe the things that they're saying, and they're demonstrating it right after that video that we just showed you. Tucker Carlson, who says if lockdowns work, why haven't they so far, is saying that from a remote location because he doesn't want to get coronavirus and die. So after all of the injury, with the injury being convincing millions of Americans to not take this seriously, and many of those Americans, conservatives who love Fox News and other people who just happen to be near them, getting sick and dying, they're now gonna say, and we're proven right by the fact that the inevitable consequence of our actions, that more people will get sick and more people will die, is happening. That proves how right we were to tell you to not comply with the things we're now blaming for this problem.
So
it's just madness.
Yes, John, it is madness. You finally discovered that they're full of madness.
Like I said this about the South Dakota governor, who even as the numbers like spiked to literally making it the hot zone of hot zones around the world, they have found a loophole in murder. Like murder's illegal usually. Indirect murder theoretically could be illegal. They found a way to say things and do things that get people killed, and they will never get in trouble for it, and they're still doing it every single day, getting paid millions of dollars to kill people, and there's nothing we can do to stop it because they have found a loophole, a flawless loophole.
It really is a loophole. That's a great way to do it. It's like this weird version of like choke sex. Like they are as selfish. They're like, oh, I get off on like the threat of death, and some people accidentally kill themselves doing it. Like, oh, I'm gonna go out there. I know there's a risk, but it's all BS, and this is I'm just pretending that I'm putting myself near death. And then they go get the disease, and then they die. And then the choke sex version is like that they're just choking these people out, being like, isn't this great? Oh, it's just us simulating how dangerous it might be. But like in the meantime, it's the accidental case with hundreds of thousands of Americans where, oh God, they actually did die. We were just playing. That's what it's like to me.
The Five is gonna spend the next couple of weeks telling people that no matter how much coronavirus there is in your area, and the percentage rates or testing rates are going up, that you should still all gather together. And they will be saying that remotely distanced from each other because one of them got coronavirus and they don't want to get it. And that is insulting, but it will work. And people will get sick and people will die. And as we've gone through so many case studies, it is not just gonna be the people who do this, who listen to this and who believe the five. It's gonna be other people as well. Like the people who go to these parties, then go elsewhere and infect people and kill people who didn't break the rules in that way.
We'll be talking on the main show today, or on the Young Turks today, we'll be talking about Pompeo and his 900 person. And then we also have, and his 900 person holiday party. And then we will also have a video of Kayleigh McEnany saying why, like trying to own the libs with the dumbest statement possible as to why she's having Christmas parties.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that. I'm gonna have to watch.
So good. So good.
Finally, so we had Steven Crowder and we had the five, but we also have your picks. So 19,000 of you went and voted this week to choose the Damage Report Community Garbage Person of the Week. And in fifth place at 3% of the vote, we have Ben Shapiro for being triggered by an Xmas rom-com. That was pretty funny. In fourth, we have David Perdue for profiting off of COVID at 6%. Really? That's fourth? I think that's pretty bad. In third, we have Rudy's election fraud witnesses for subverting democracy at 14%. Although honestly, that woman was just a delight. She was a drunken delight. In second, we have Joe DiGenova for calling for the execution of Chris Krebs at 22%. But at number one, at 54% of the vote, majority there, Congress for not passing COVID relief. Look, that honestly is the vast majority of Congress because some of them might be more willing to do it, but I want to lump a little bit of Nancy Pelosi and her strategy on COVID relief into that. Just amazing.
Anyway, I just like to point out the guy with the Italian last name mispronounces the Italian last name.
What is the last name?
DiGenova.
DiGenova? Yeah, I guess that's true. I've never been to Italy actually, and considering the world probably never will be. But anyway, thank you everybody who voted. Appreciate that.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.